Hello everyone, hope you're well and good and healthy. It's nice to see you all again after a while. Today we're not baking, we're cooking today. And we're doing a Pakistani starter dish called Aloo Tikki, which is basically a potato cutlet. So we're ready to get started, so let's get cracked on with the recipe. We're going to start by boiling our potatoes, and if you want them to boil really fast, the best way to do it is to cut them into really small pieces, which is what I like to do. So start off by peeling your potatoes, and I like to use a potato peeler to peel my potatoes again because I just think it makes life a lot easier. So I'm just going to cube them up, and because we're going to mash the potatoes, it doesn't really matter if they're even or not even. They're just like cutting them up into small chunks like this. Like I said, just makes the boiling a lot, because there's a lot more surface area. They boil a lot faster like this, okay? So just cut them into small cubes. So I've chopped the potatoes into small pieces. Okay, what I'm going to do is then I'm going to get my saucepan that I'm going to boil the potatoes in. Okay, I'm going to put all the potatoes in the saucepan. You could cut them even smaller than this if you wanted to. The smaller you cut them, the faster they'll boil. Okay, so that's the potatoes. So I'm just giving them a wash first. So just wash them, get rid of some of the starch, rinse. So you want to pour enough water in there to cover all your potatoes and slightly more, so that obviously the potatoes got enough water to boil in. Then you just put it on a high heat and just let it do its thing while we prepare the rest of the dish, okay? So there we go, the potatoes are on, and I'm just going to let them boil, do their thing. They're on full heat, and I'm just going to let them boil away while we prepare the rest of the ingredients for the Aloo Tikki. So I've got a mixing bowl here that I'm going to mix my mixture in. So you can use any mixing bowl that you have as well. And the first thing we're going to cut in there is our spring onions. Okay, so you need 3 spring onions roughly. You can use 4 if you want to. You can use 2 if you want to. Again, like with cooking, it's not like baking. There's no precise measurements. It's all about taste and what your preferences are. So I think 3 work well. And I like to use spring onions rather than general onions, just so I think they just give a nice flavour. They're not too harsh on the tongue. Right, so I've just peeled the spring onions, okay, and then I'm just going to give them a wash. Okay, so always wash your veg. And you're going to cut the root off first. Okay, so slice off all the root, and then you're going to cut this into small, thin spheres. So very thinly, just chop your spring onion, just like so. And don't throw away the green part, okay? Green part has a lot of flavour as well, so you can include that in your dish. Maybe not in all of it entirely to the end, but most of it, definitely add it in. But look, I've got most of the green part as well as the white part of the spring onion, and I've chopped it up into small pieces. I'm just going to get my knife and just kind of just go like this and make some pieces a bit more smaller. Don't have to do this. I just think small nice pieces in there taste nice. So we're going to put our spring onions into our mixing bowl. If you were using fresh coriander, then you'd chop that up. So wash your coriander, get a bunch, like a handful of fresh coriander, and then wash it and then chop it up really finely. I'm using frozen coriander because I didn't have any fresh coriander at home. And I always buy extra and usually chop it up and keep it in the freezer for times when I don't have fresh coriander. So this is frozen. So I'm going to use my frozen coriander. So what you want to do is wash and chop up your fresh coriander and then add that to your bowl as well. And then I've got 2 green chilies here. So I'm just going to chop them up into small pieces and add them in. Just wash them first. So split the chili in half. Okay, that way it will lay flat on your chopping board. Okay, and then put them evenly again, and then basically want to cut them thinly, just like you did with the spring onions. Okay, just going to do this just to chop them up a little bit more finer. And again, you can do this to your own preference. If you like it less spicy, you can put less in. If you like it more spicy, you can always add more in. With cooking, it's adjustable like that to your own palate. So our green chilies are in there too. Right, so the water's boiling, so I'm taking the lid off there. I don't want it to overflow. And now we're going to add in our seasonings. I'll start off with our crushed chilies. So 1 teaspoon of crushed red chilies. Your coriander powder, again the coarsely ground one, gives a nicer flavour. So I'll just show you what that looks like before I add it in. So the one that's finer, it is more thinner than this, and this is a bit more coarse. I don't know if you can see, the camera's not really focusing on it, but this one's a bit more coarse. Okay, so you need a teaspoon of that crushed dried coriander seeds. Then you need some cumin powder, about half a teaspoon of your zero powder in as well. So now we're going to go in with some salt. So a teaspoon of salt goes in, a teaspoon of salt in there. Dried methi, it looks like this. Need about half a teaspoon. This is very strong in smell and flavour, okay? So about half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, whatever you prefer. But I'm going to just put about a half teaspoon because I don't want it to be too strong in there. And then about half a teaspoon of your anardana, so your pomegranate seed powder. Oh, I picked up the wrong box. I thought it was the powder. Okay, guys, I've picked up the wrong box and I've got whole pomegranate seeds. Obviously, I don't know how to read. Okay, so I'm not going to put these in because they're just going to get stuck in your teeth. But what you want to add in there is pomegranate seed powder. Okay, I bought the wrong thing. So embarrassing. I did see the pomegranate seed powder and my daughter pointed. She goes, "Oh, Mom, there it is." And then I saw this packet. I go, "Oh, this one's cheaper." And then I didn't read it properly, obviously, and I assumed because it was next to it, it was the same thing, but it's not. If I don't have the pomegranate seed powder, I'm not going to put it in, obviously, but you please put it in. So the potatoes are done, and that's it for this for now. Okay, so we're going to put our mixture to the side, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the potatoes, and then I'm going to put them back into the same saucepan and mash them. Okay, so they're done, they're cooked through. So I'm just going to use a colander, okay, and I'm going to drain them in the sink. Probably rinse them with a bit of cold water just to cool them down a bit, and then I'm going to mash them, okay? So bear with me. Just don't burn yourselves, guys. Obviously you can just wait till they cool down by themselves and then do it. The reason why I'm cooling them down is because we're going to be mashing this when we mix it into here by hand, just to mix everything in properly, so you don't want to burn yourself, obviously. So that's why I'm cooling the potatoes down right now. So then I get the saucepan back. I've cooled them down. I'm just going to put them back into the saucepan that we cooked them in, and we're going to use a potato masher and mash them up. So you get your potato masher or a fork, whatever you're going to use, and literally just mash your potatoes up with it. Basically, you just mash them up until they turn into mashed potato. To show you what that looks like. So just like that, it's all mashed up now. And then we're going to add the potato to our spices that we put in. Ideally, you want to wait till your potatoes are cooled down, guys, to do this part, because you're going to get your hands in there and you don't want to burn your hands, okay? So I'm going to use a spoon to start off with because this is really hot. Basically mixing all those masalas into our potato now. Okay, so at this point we're going to add in some corn flour. I'm going to add a tablespoon to start off with, and that's usually all we need just to help bind it all together. So corn flour, this is we're using to bind it all together. So I'm going to get my hands in there now. Guys, make sure your hands are clean, and it's just, you know, that way that everything is combined well together when you do it like this. Can you see how all the spices and everything just amalgamate into there? Yeah? And obviously if you've got any big bits of potato left, you can mash them up as well. I'm going to taste it for salt, and if I think it's okay, fine. If I feel like I need to add more salt, I will be adding more salt. And remember, this potato is cooked, so you can taste it. There's nothing in there that's going to give you food poisoning. The only real thing we're going to do is pan fry the egg that we put on top, and that's just to give it extra flavour. Yeah, it tastes pretty good to me. Move that to the side. Let me just wash my hands. So the frying. Now, basically we're just frying the coating that we're putting on top, and the coating is an egg coating. So you just need 1 egg for this amount of mixture. So just 1 egg, crack it into an empty bowl. And then to this egg, we're gonna add a tiny bit of red chili flakes and a tiny bit of salt, okay? Just to give the egg a little bit of flavor. Like a 1/4 teaspoon maybe, or slightly less than that, of chili flakes in there. So a pinch of salt, a little bit of salt. So a fork and whisk your egg with your chili and your salt. What you need to fry is just your regular old frying pan, any kind of frying pan. Stick that on the heat. Whatever normal cooking oil that you use, you just need a little bit in the pan just to coat the bottom of your pan. I can't really say exactly how much, so just pour it in until the bottom of your pan is basically coated in oil. But just don't do too much oil because you only need a little bit, okay, just for frying them. So you just pour that into your pan. Put your pan on. Start off at a high, heat the oil up, then turn it down to a medium. So you want to get like a handful of the mixture, roughly about 2 tablespoons worth, whatever fits in your hand, and then you want to shape it into like a kebab shape. So you can do that by making it into a sphere first, just by doing this between both your hands. Then you just flatten it, okay, together, like so, and it forms a round patty like this. Doesn't have to be exactly round, but whatever size you're comfortable with, guys. Your hand is small like mine, and you can only make a small one in your hand, then that's fine. There's no rules to say you have to make it this certain size and it's be like this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So you want basically to form a patty like that. And then to fry it, you're gonna dip it into your egg. So on one side, then grab it and then flip it over to the other side. Okay, be gentle, okay? Because it can break easily. And then you're going to place that into the oil once it's hot enough. Place it into the pan. And you just keep doing that until basically you fill the pan. And then you can turn them over. Okay, so you want roughly this colour, okay? And then just flip them gently, okay? Doesn't want to turn around. There we go. Okay. Don't burn yourself. And then you want to get a plate ready with some kitchen paper just to drain the excess oil off. So once both sides look like this, then they're ready to take them out and put them onto your plate, okay? Let's go over to the plate. So you want to drain all that extra oil off, make sure it's all off. And you can arrange them nicely on a plate in like a row. Serve them with, I don't know if you remember my recipe for my tamarind and tomato chutney that I made with the pakora. That goes really well with these, honestly, try it. Any kind of chili sauce tastes really nice with these as well. So yeah, so let's have a look at the inside of one of them. This is your aloo tikki. So it's nice and crispy on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. Okay, and really, really tasty. Okay, so let's try this. Bismillah. It's really hot. Oh my god, guys. That's it from me, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, enjoy. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye.